where news comes first. You're watching WECT News.
They've captured the curiosity of people all around the world. They only grow naturally in southeastern North Carolina, but there are concerns tonight that the Venus flytrap is being threatened. WECT's Ava Brengord went to Carolina Beach State Park to find out more.
They're small, creepy to some, and fascinating to others. Venus flytraps only occur naturally within 100 miles of the Wilmington area. But don't worry, they only trap insects, hence the name.
So Venus flytraps in bloom down here.
From May to June, you can find this famous carnivorous plant in full bloom at Carolina Beach State Park.
I've talked to people from all over the world that come here to look at Venus flytraps. The flytraps are real close to the ground.
It's part of Park Ranger Jesse Anderson's job to educate visitors on the importance of the flytraps in the region, and we were no exception.
Dead wasps and
Wow.
dead ants and stuff like that.
Venus flytraps are known for their clever way of trapping insects for nutrients.
It's really cool that a plant eats insects. They're an icon for this habitat.
Carolina Beach State Park is one of the few places to see the flytraps in their natural environment. Their biggest threats, though, people who harvest them and the rapid development in the area. And for that, we'll give you a view from above.
A bird's eye look shows the stark contrast between the state park and the town of Carolina Beach, one of the fastest growing areas in the region. Anderson says while there are still thousands of flytraps across the area, now the natural hunter is being hunted.
These flytraps, they're in backyards throughout the counties in North Carolina where they're found. Development can just happen right on top of them.
That's why bringing awareness to the significance of the flytraps helps protect other types of plant species too.
People that live in Wilmington and this area where Venus flytraps are found, they really have something to latch onto with having such a unique, iconic carnivorous plant.
Now, if you do come across Venus flytraps, there's an important rule to follow. Harvesting them is actually a felony in North Carolina. In Carolina Beach, Ava Brengord, WECT News.